Hello and welcome to this review / news video for the IRL International Racing League over the weekend. We'll start off by reviewing the GT Sport race which happened on the 14th of April at 8 o'clock in the evening, Greenwich Mean Time, 3 p.m. in Britain, and some ridiculous early time in Australia. The first grid start of the season will go on board with Kamikaze Fox, who started in 5th position. He got a terrible start, unfortunately for him, dropping him down to, I think it was about 8th position in the end, although he was able to recover back up to 5th. But the impressive performance came from Luke Smith, Brian Stingray, who started on the back row due to mistiming a pit stop in the qualifying session. Started on the back row but was able to recover. He'd already got into 5th position by the third corner and eventually went on to win the race by 18 seconds in the end. It was quite a big margin he won as well by Lewis Bish, who finished in 2nd position, his best result of the season, and Convicts Popeye Chris Ryan finishing in 3rd. So Luke Smith already 20 points ahead with Philip Blum in 2nd, Chris Ryan in 3rd, Lewis Bish in 4th, and already those four seem to have separated themselves as the championship contenders, from Fly Soup for 2 in 5th ahead of Doc Holiday, Kamikaze in 7th position, followed by Killer XX Rambo, who is a reserve driver for Galaxy Motorsports, and Cameron Westner was in 10th in the constructors' standings at the moment. Chrysos then being carried by Luke Smith to an early lead in the constructors, 7 points ahead of Galaxy Motorsport, Comfox in 3rd. Little gap already developing between them and Scuderia Ferrari, 6 points ahead of their nearest pursuers, with Duke Racing on 4 points, Red Bull after 2 races still yet to get off the mark. In the Nations Cup, America have 94 points, extending their lead now to 30 points ahead of two-man Australia. Impressive, just 2 drivers on 64. Britain still trailing them in 3rd, Holland is off the mark. Now let's review the IRL versus SRL event, which was on the 15th of April around Belgium. It was the International Racing League's top 10 versus the Sandro Racing League top 10. It proved to be quite a controversial, quite an action-packed, thrilling race. Kamikaze Fox covering it from start to finish. It'll be on this YouTube channel very shortly. So it was the two league owners, Sandro Dulles in the Ferrari, Cam Western was in the Renault, battled early on in the race. They were side by side for quite a few laps. As you can see here, Sandro got past Cameron going into La Source hairpin at turn 1. Cameron then got back past but completely overcooked the chicane, and Sandro was able to get a much better exit off turn 6, and he got to the inside going into turn 7. Cameron couldn't do nothing, tried to squeeze him up to the inside. Some brilliant, aggressive, yet absolutely clean wheel-to-wheel, little bit of contact racing. Later in the race, they were still battling, and Blizzard, 53, Matthew Wilder got a brilliant overtake on both of them. Later in the race, Sandro Dulles had an absolutely massive crash, which was caused by a glitched wall. You can see the rear there, the glitched wall taking him out of the race, and unfortunately, that corner would result in the race being declared void because of him. 3 drivers being taken out by glitches throughout that corner. But we'll concentrate now on the battle for the lead, even though it was a fantastic battle. Aaron Collingwood versus Bart Cattell. The Bart tried to go around the outside. They were side by side for 3 straight laps, pretty much. Bart trying to go around the outside here, but had to take to the escape road. Had to give the position back. He was lucky, didn't get a time penalty for it. He gave the position back to Aaron Collingwood. Next lap, he tried to do the exact same thing, but again, Aaron Collingwood shut the door, so Bart knew that wasn't going to work. He had to try to do something else. So he went to the outside, going into La Source at turn 1, in the intention of getting a switchback to get a much better exit. But however, as you can about to see, he really overcooked it, kicked the tail out, but he was still side by side going into Eau Rouge. However, neither of them were going to lift, and they were going to go into Eau Rouge side by side. The commentator said one of them was going to crash, and they obviously were, and it was Bart Cattell who hit the wall very hard, as you can see there, ruining his chance of victory. Also in the race, there was a nice little battle, a little rivalry between James Hallworth and Colin Higgins there. The first of a few times they made contact. Colin very aggressive there, pushing James to the outside. It was a nice little rival, which hopefully we'll see again in the return. Later in the race, however, a sour taste was left in the mouth due to René van der Stat making accidental contact with Aaron Collingwood, losing Aaron the lead and eventually costing IRL what would have been a victory. However, due to the glitching around the Pouhon area, with Sandro Dulles being taken out by not an invisible wall, but a glitched wall, Lewis Marshall crashing, and Lewis Bish getting beached on the curb, the race was declared void, and a rematch will be done later in the year, possibly around June, July. Back to IRL then, and next weekend the GT Sport continues on the 21st of April around Monza. The Vipers should have the legs on the rest of the field there, so Luke Smith could once again be uncatchable in the F1 race around Malaysia on the 22nd, the first one for 3 weeks. That will be live on the International Racing League. The first race we'll be doing that will not go onto Kamikaze Fox, it won't go onto Collie Waffle, it will go onto this channel. The stream will go onto this channel, so we'll all enjoy that.